Remember the voting populace is those guys in the rural areas.
100%.
And bona bangas shy of it. We can talk here all day. Oksalayo, that class of people that keeps voting in the direction of self-detriment. We cannot outnumber them.
Self-detriment.
Self-detriment. I just told you, Alex is a shithole, so is Deep Sloot. But they'll still vote for the same party that's putting them in the shithole. They have the highest rate of fetal alcohol syndrome in the world in Deep Sloot. In Anda, in KZN, they've got the highest rape rate in the country. You know, this per capita. But guess which direction they vote?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, guys, I'm not sure if you're realizing, but you are voting for your own self-detriment. Me and you, it doesn't matter like who wins, bro. Like our lives remain relatively unchanged.
You'd like to say one more thing?
No, I'm good. I get his
Are
point.
you sure?
I think he was solely focusing on the Zulus, but not necessarily.
I always am.
You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but not necessarily that if we had to vote per language, the Zulus would be the ones that would be the most honest. Go with the Zulus only. But I think the other tribes, I don't think they will. And that's what I'm saying. The national.
And even if they do, the Zulus will outnumber them 6-1. 6-1,
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
I disagree with most of the things Warras has said.
But that's good, Benwell. That's why I'm here. I'm here to show you the light.
And
Man.
yeah, I think his reading of the elections, because that was the question, I think is wrong, and it's okay. But at
Sorry,
least
and the second question was?
you got to say your piece.
I think people are over the I think even the Zulus, man, they're over this thing of I have to do it because it's of a certain Zuluness. I think Christians are also not even voting for a Christian party.
ACDP,
They are not even voting, but how many Christians are there in South Africa? There's a lot.
80% apparently.
You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is I think the population has gotten to a point where they want employment and they don't give a shit if it's from AfriForum, it's from whoever. They don't care anymore. They just we don't want crime. Can things be efficient?
You think that's why they didn't vote for the ANC?
Now, yes, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think
That's your opinion?
I think things have went to a shithole
That's
to
crazy.
a point where people now are like, nah, we wouldn't have to vote for
We
that.
read politics so differently.
I
now.
also, look, I don't agree with that,
yeah.
Gibbs. You know why? Because I feel like from a numbers perspective,
Sure.
the people who understand that and did vote that way
Yeah.
are not enough to sway the number.
The people that care about that.
The people that have knowledge of it, Penwell.
Okay.
So you've got, let's talk about the classes of people. Moletsi Mbeki refers to the vast majority of the ANC voters. He refers to as the underclass. Okay? His word, not mine. And it's not designed to be
you said
offensive.
that's your boy, ne?
It's my dude. Okay? What he says or what he means by the underclass is the very people that we just discussed, right? That live in Deep Sloot, live in townships in urban areas, not in suburbs, and live in rural areas. Now, Zematateni, lapho, kwaPanya, Peguzulu, right? Those people,
Which area? Townships.
townships and rural
Yeah.
areas.
Matatian is a township.
Right.
Sure.
But saying township, I said townships in urban areas. In other words, you live in Johannesburg, go to uhlale Sentin,
Sure.
uhlale Alex, no uhlale Deep Sloot,
Sure.
right? So laba bant laba, they are the underclass. They are the people that are very poor, unemployed, and hoping that the ANC, who promised they would, is going to get them out of the situation. They perceive white people in general and the DA to be apartheid. White people are going to bring apartheid back. Oh my God, we have to vote in this direction. They are the people that are fooled by that type of rhetoric that the ANC and other parties espouse on their campaign trails when they say shit like, white people are going to bring back apartheid and lines of that nature. Okay, they are the people that believe all white people to be racist. They are not exposed to white people at all. They live in fucking Deep Sloot. They don't have a job, so they hardly come out of Deep Sloot. You understand? So they don't really move from Deep Sloot to Kai. When they know someone or have a friend or their bra comes from wherever, they either meet that person at the taxi rank in Hillbrow. You've seen what that looks like. There's no white people there either. They have no real life experience with any white person. So they believe what they've heard and what they perceive white people to be in their minds. So they are gaslit and they are fed a narrative that white people are your enemy. They live there. They never see white people, so they never come into contact with them, so they don't really have any negative experience.
That's why
of
right
them.
now, even when that kid saw you, they said umlungu.
Thank you.
In 2025.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because that kid lives in Alex. He
Yeah.
doesn't leave Alex. He goes to school in Alex. He plays in the road in Alex. He operates in Alex his whole 6-7 years of his life. He sees me, and it's like the first person of a lighter hue that he's seen in a very long time other than on TV. Okay? Right. Now, that class of people, they are almost kept so far away from the educational diaspora that we cannot convert their vote because they just simply don't know enough. And we can't access them. How are we going to access them? You can't even drive in that place. There's no way you're going to go on a door-to-door campaign in Deep Slot, bro. It's
I'm glad
it's
you
actually
raised that.
impossible to traverse.
I'm
So
glad
it's
you raised
almost
that.
like by design, they've kept their little voting block on social grants and stuck in a shithole.
Yeah.
Because when it's voting time, you will vote for us again. Because we're the only motherfuckers who come in here and give you a social grant.
Yeah.
What you going to do, nigga? You see? You are stuck. In the rural areas now, yes. Those people, same thing. They never see white people. They never have a lived experience of what other cultures do. They only know what they know. And what they know is ANC because the brand, Mandela, they liberated us. It's like brainwashing. You must watch a series called Chernobyl. It's about the Soviet Union when the Chernobyl disaster happened. And it speaks about how these communist ideals of indoctrinating people into a way of thinking. When the nuclear power plant explodes and it's fucking leaking nuclear matter across the whole of the Ukraine, modern day Ukraine, at the time it was whatever, Chernobyl was in whatever, what was it called, Czechoslovakia or whatever it was called those days, but it was part of the Soviet Union. The nuclear physicist who goes to the site to go and see what happened sees that, yo, this thing is spewing nuclear waste into the air. And he goes to the head of nuclear guy to go and say, yo, bro, we need to issue an emergency warning now. We've got to evacuate literally 300-kilometer radius of people or they're going to get sick. And that guy is like, oh, we can't do that, my man. If we do that, we'll be admitting that our nuclear facility was a fuck up. Are you mad? He's like, bro, the ship has sailed. The thing is exploded. If we don't do it now, do you understand what I'm telling you? And he's like, do you understand what I'm telling you? Politically, there's no way I'm going to do that. I'll lose my job. And he's like, yeah, but I'm a fucking nuclear physicist, my brother. I'm telling you what's going to happen. And he says, and I used to work in a shoe factory. To the workers of the world. And he drinks his drink. He tells them to fuck off. Do you understand? He's been installed there because he's a cadre.
Yes.
You check. He's an idiot. But he's got that position.
Definitely not an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Definitely not.
Imbecile. Knows fuck all about nuclear physics.
Sure.
Right? And
He
now
doesn't
he has
have
to
to.
deal with the nuclear physics matter. Right?
But he's here for political, and he's focused.
He's here for political reasons. He's been installed. He tries now and he goes to, the board of with the president, Yeltsin, and the KGB head and
Warras.
Sbanban. And they're like, what happened at the facility? And they're like, no, sir, just some spillage of Ntontoni and this. And this guy is sitting in the meeting, the nuclear physicist guy, and he stands up and he says, I'm sorry, I can't. This thing exploded. And the reason it exploded is because of the way we build our nuclear facilities. We use boron instead of Ntontoni. And we don't put it in the manual. You see, because they can't declare that. And when those poor guys that work at the facility were busy pressing buttons, they didn't know that by pressing those buttons, they were actually triggering the bomb. Because we told them, this place cannot blow up. It's impossible. And in that communist agenda, you cannot deviate from the party policy line.
Yes.
Right? They install people, can't deviate from party policy line. If you do, you die.
Yes.
Brainwash the entire population. Such that even when this man was screaming and shouting to officials to say, guys, I know what I'm talking about. I studied this thing. I built nuclear reactors. They just ignored him and eventually he was taken out the game.